Now let's talk about how to speak your truth and not get fired. What we're always worried about when we don't speak our truth is that someone's not going to like us or we're going to get in trouble. The what ifs that are snowballing down the path of your anticipated conversations, no wonder you're afraid. That what if thinking puts you into a space of anxiety in the future that will not serve you in the long run. So let's just talk about ways in which we can listen, hear, and speak our truth, and maybe not even agree with those around us, so that we can influence in a professional manner to get what we want. So for example, I've often heard of leaders who have these really nuanced sense of skill that says, I can listen to you and hear you without agreeing with you. And they can do this in a manner that not only validates you, but helps them get the information that they need in order to move forward with what they truly should be doing for the organization. So the way in which they can speak their truth without shutting you down. So I want to use this example for you so that you can practice it as well at work, is by making sure first and foremost that they are listening very carefully to those around them. Before you speak, you must listen. I know, I have a hard time with this one too, because I typically am very compelled at sharing my opinion. So that's why I had to actually have a YouTube channel, among other channels in social media. But listen to me very carefully. When we listen, right, as you're doing now, you are seeking to understand, and you're paying very close attention to me. So when you look at me, imagine that you're looking at an employee or you're looking at your boss. Can you really see me? Can you see the little girl in me that whose mother is super proud of her? Right. That's the smile I hope I authentically share with you. That little girl who's just super freaking excited to even be here at 51 years of age. So when you are interacting with others at work, if you can set aside any judgment, suspend any disbelief about their abilities, their competencies, and really just see them, I think that is going to give you the ability to be so present that you will glean the information that you need more effectively, more powerfully. Secondly, really focus on validating what you hear. Now, there's a really big difference between validation and agreement. And people are terribly concerned that validation means they agree, because they may have not yet formed their opinion, or they already know their opinion, but they need to get this person on board with them in order to move forward. So validation looks a lot like this. I can tell by what you said that that is causing you to feel uncertain. Let's use a real example. Someone comes to you and says, we need to hire more people. I don't have enough resources. I can't get the work done. So in order for you as the leader to really seek to understand, you have to first and foremost see the child in that sweet face of theirs and recognize that they are human, just like you. And secondly, you really need to validate where they're coming from. I can tell that you seem pretty passionate about getting new people on board. Tell me what's going on with you. What's the impact of not having the resources? Well, we don't have enough time. I don't have enough capacity. Oh, I can see that that's causing you to be frustrated. What else is happening? Really listening and repeating back to the individual what it is that you are hearing them say. You will recognize really quickly that once you begin to validate how they feel, they will relax and be less assertive in their attempt, in the event that that's their style and approach. I can tell by the way you're talking about this that it really is important to you. I did not agree that we're going to hire more people. I did not agree that they were correct in their assumption that we needed more resources. But I did first and foremost listen and hear them by validating them. The thing is about human beings is that we want to be heard and we want to connect. And you yourself may be feeling compelled to react and respond with some sort of justification for why we aren't hiring new employees, because you too want to be heard and understood. But as a leader, it's really important that you pause, you listen very carefully as to what the individual is saying, and then you validate them. Make sure they know that they have been heard. One phrase that is really critical for validating and hearing others is to simply say, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you just said. I hear you loud and clear. I haven't agreed with you, but I hear you. You don't necessarily say you do not agree yet until you have gathered all the information you need. Leaders listen, validate, and then gather the information enough to glean an opinion. They want to make sure they have everything they need in order to respond. Big difference from reacting. And if you're feeling compelled to begin defending or solving the problem, then there may be another question that you'd like to ask before coming up with a solution with your employee. And that question is, how can I best respond to you around this topic? So the individual may not actually be asking you to commit to hiring new employees. They may simply be asking you to listen to them so that the two of you can come up with a solution together. I have to say, I used to be the fixer. I wanted to solve your problem. You would be 2 sentences in trying to tell me something, and I would have already thought of 3 or 4 things that I thought you should do in order to fix your situation. But that's not good leadership. And over time, having received feedback about that from some of my employees, I began to learn a little tip that my manager taught me. And that was to ask my employee before they even got started, how can I best support you in this conversation? Do you need me to just listen? Do you want me to give you advice? Or are you asking me to solve the problem? 3 questions. Do you need me to just listen? Are you asking me for advice? Or do you want me to help you solve the problem? So that makes it very clear as to what the intention of the conversation is. I hope this is helpful, and as you lead by design and create the life by design that you crave in your career, that you too will be able to truly step into that authentic, truth-telling leadership self. Happy designing.